Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. And welcome back to another week, another episode of the Triple Threat Podcast. Today is a very momentous day for Blue Jays fans. It is Trey Day. Trey Savage is back. And with him being back, I figure we talk a little bit more about the Jays' pitching rotation as of late, because Miggy, it's had some weird wrinkles coming in recently with just some up and down performances from some guys.
Up and down. You got injuries. You got players coming back that we're hoping that they just keep pace with what they had. It's just an up and down roller coaster right now of either disappointment or surprise from specific few pitchers that are remaining.
Yeah. So our starting pitchers, we've got Gossman, we've got Cease. So two of them have been performing great. But
Oh yeah,
of course, you can't have two starters playing every game.
no.
So we've been really lacking for proper starters post that. I mean, we've mentioned the Ponce injury a whole bunch.
He's probably out for the season.
It's less than 1% chance he comes back. Max Scherzer, Mad Max, has not been looking good, and he's been in and out of the IL recently too, with some like minor forearm.
Yeah,
injuries.
tightness, but he's like 41 years old.
Yeah, he really shouldn't be getting as many starts as he is.
Like,
but
all respect to him, but he's still at the age where he can't be fully reliable all the time.
no. But when you Savage coming back, and kind of speaking a little bit ahead, I don't always like us talking about recording day games, but we just watched the Blue Jays game tonight.
Yeah.
Savage looks good.
He did look good, and some fans might be a little disappointed with his
Outing.
but here are the numbers: 4 strikeouts, 6 scoreless innings.
He threw, I think, 6 and a third.
Yeah.
Or was this 5 and a third? I think
5 and a third.
They pulled him out after the first.
Yeah,
batter,
and he
batter.
did a little like, what already? But like,
he wanted to go. He wanted to go.
All laughs on the bench, but 4 strikeouts, scoreless inning. Yes, the defense helped him a little bit, but coming back from an injury, I feel like it was a pretty strong outing and gave me some good feelings towards where the Jays could be turning a new leaf with having Savage back, because now we have Savage, as you said, we have Cease and Gosman. So our starting rotation is starting to be as scary as it's supposed to be.
It's solidifying. And Jose Barrios, he's still in rehab, and his most recent rehab game didn't look great, but he is throwing.
Yeah.
So he's on his way back. And something I really liked between Savage and Tyler Heineman, the catcher that the Jays had in today. They didn't have Valenzuela, and they had Heineman. What they were really doing well was they were easing Savage back in with just simple stuff.
Yeah.
Which was really nice to see, because Savage, he's got his splitter, he's got his sinker, whatever. He's got his stuff. But the fact that he came back through five and a bit scoreless innings on kind of slower paced, easier stuff from him is a really good sign. Because once he gets back into his really good stuff, then it gets really scary.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I want to talk a bit about our bullpen, because that has been an area of concern recently. And a big name that kind of headlines that concern is Hoffman.
He needs a break. I like Hoffman. He was good last year, but he needs a break. He is not pitching how he should be. He is struggling, as well as he's just not performing.
Mm-hmm.
But they're doing this community closing thing.
Yeah, closing by committee.
Yeah. I'm not really for it. I just say put the stamp as closer on Varland.
You and I are on the same page there, Miggy. So Hoffman's been our, I guess, designated closer for last year and a half, essentially. And I think you're right. He's really struggled here to start the year. He's given up quite a bit. But our kind of, not middle of the line bullpen guys, but our kind of plug and play relief pitchers like Varland and Rogers and Fluharty and whatnot have been giving us really, really good innings. And I especially like Rogers and Varland. So I think you're right. I think if we just give Varland the closer tag, because I think he's closed 3, 4 Jays wins in the last week and a half.
Yeah. He
And
was a main part of it too. One had bases loaded that he put himself in trouble, but he got himself out of trouble as well. So yes, he might put himself in trouble, but unlike some closers, he's able to get out of trouble.
well, what he's been really showing me recently, especially, is that he is the kind of guy who can say, okay, I'm going to put my absolute best stuff out for 3 outs.
Yeah.
Right? Some guys can't do that. There are some relief pitchers that, can sort of do that and then will get pulled. There's some relief pitchers that are better over the course of, say, 2 innings. And Varland, I always thought was that kind of guy.
Yeah.
You put him in for sort of the 6th and 7th inning or the 7th into the 8th inning because he has enough just sort of motor to get through it.
Yeah.
But he's really been showing me recently that he has what it takes to be that 1 inning guy, and he's been doing really well with it.
Yeah.
So I think
Totally
you and I are
agree with
both.
you.
We've said it a number of times now, but I think both you and I are in agreement of if the Jays to go with Varland as their go-to closer, and the rest of our relief pitchers and bullpen are, you know, put in for 1 inning or 1.5 innings to get him there. I think that this bullpen and this pitching staff really gets to the skill level and to the point of efficiency that we saw at the beginning of the year.
Well, I really
Or
liked it
expected
with,
from them at the beginning of
and
the
like
year.
you mentioned earlier, other than the MLS, since they're a little earlier, we don't really like talking about games of today. But I really liked seeing a Savage, and then the Blue Jays had the chance to do something awesome, and they went from your Savage to Rogers. And then Rogers pitched 2 innings, and then
Hoffman came in, and then we finished off with Varland. So, and it looked really comfortable for them out there.
Yeah.
Which was really nice to see. So, happy trade day to all Blue Jays supporters, and I think we'll be fine going forward with pitching. But as for MLB and some MLB stats from this past week,
yeah. So on last Tuesday, on the 21st of April, the Jays beat the Angels 4-2. Sosa and Eloy Jimenez both brought in 2 runners. Corbin with a solid, I wouldn't say like a fantastic, but a solid showing. 5 innings pitched with 3 Ks, 2 walks, and a 1 ERA. 1 ER, sorry. So pretty solid. On Wednesday, we did lose 7-3 though against the Angels. They were able to get their revenge. Lucas did hit twice. Created 2 scores, so 3 of those points are just him. Lauer, he 5 innings pitched, 3 earned run, 2 bases walked, and he let 2 homers.
yeah, he's kind of another guy that's been struggling a bit on the staff.
Yeah, but the 2 homers you let is on 2 scorching guys. You like Shanuel and Trout.
You can't blame him for it, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But he has struggled a little bit out of the gates here.
They were tied at the bottom of the 6th, but Shanuel with a base clearing double let in 3 runners and brought it up to 6-3, which then in the bottom of the 8th they would score another time to make it 7-3. Now, April 24th, because Thursday we did get a little break, we started against the Guardians, and we lost 8-6. Bad outing for Mad Max. 2.1 inning pitch, 6 hits, 7 earned runs, 3 walks, 3 homers. Not the numbers you want to see. Okamoto and Sanchez, though, did home run on this game, so that was good to see. Okamoto is fitting very well in, and like I made it very clear once he was traded for or even signed, I've loved Sanchez since he became a Blue Jays. And every time I see it on the TV, I'm like, you go Sanchez. Martinez from Cleveland did go 2 for 4 with 2 runs, 4 RBIs, and a homer. So he had a pretty decent game.
No kidding.
The Jays would get their revenge though on Saturday, winning 5-3. Gosman threw 6.2 innings, only allowed 2 runs in, and had 3 strikeouts. Now, it's not the usual strikeout rate that we see from Gosman. We're used to above 7, but I don't expect him to hit that every single time. Like, a pitcher's allowed to have an off night. And if you're having an off night with pitching 6.2 innings and only letting in 2 runs,
you take that.
Yeah.
You absolutely take that in the grand scheme of things. And I mean, he's gonna have his low strikeout count games. I mean, this is the kind of guy who had 11 strikeouts in a game at the start of the year. So
now talking about Okamoto, because I know you are starting to like him quite a bit as well.
Oh yeah.
He went 2 for 3, 2 RBIs. He walked once and has had a home run. So that's 2 home runs in 2 games. Meanwhile, Fry from Cleveland went 1 for 3, 1 run, and 1 RBI off of his homer. So Cleveland's batters are showing up. Gosman's just showing them up even more. On Sunday, we won, bringing it for the first time this year that the Blue Jays win 2 series in a row. About time.
It is possible. It is possible in the great 2026.
Sanchez homers. When I say the new additions are helping, in the last 3 games, Sanchez and Okamoto have 2 homers each. Corbijn, mediocre start. He had 6 hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, but out of all of that, only had 2 earned runs.
I mean, it's about the same as Gosman's start from the previous game, so you go with it.
Another good outing for Varland. Like we were saying earlier, I feel he should be their closer, but I'm not the general manager, and I trust Schneider, and we'll see how it goes.
He's becoming that cleanup man. And he's looking good.
April 27th, so yesterday, we lose 5-0. I am not kidding you. All I have in my notes that are written is womp womp.
Yeah, losing 5-0 to the Boston Red Sox, who, as of, what was it, this either Saturday or Sunday, when they didn't have a coaching staff?
Yeah.
And they kind of put one together so that they could show up on Monday, and they beat us 5-0 is not exactly something I really want to talk about.
You want
to be entirely honest.
Now, with that, the Blue Jays did end up, like a solid 3 out of 4.
The Blue Jays are getting closer and closer to going 500 on a week.
Yeah.
So it's trending in the right direction.
Now, trending in the right direction, I have games that shredded in the very wrong directions. And I'm not going into stats for this one because or else we'll be here for days. So I'm just going to name them off and then see Jay's reaction to all of these because it's going to be hilarious. The Reds beat the Rays 12-6. The Brewers beat the Tigers 12-4. The Braves got beat by the Nationals 11-4. Orioles beat the Red Sox 10-3. The Pirates beat the Brewers 6-0. Athletic beat the Rangers 8-1. The Yankees beat Astros 12-4. Royals beat the Angels 12-1. Detroit got beat 9-2 from the Reds, and the Dodgers beat the Cubs 12-4. And Jay, be ready. Red Sox beat the O's 17-1.
The fuck is going on in that league?
This week had a lot of blowouts. And when I say blowouts,
Nobody showed up.
I mean like at least 6-run difference.
Yeah. You know what's really funny about that 17-1 win from the Red Sox? Immediately after that game, they fired their coaching staff.
Yeah.
The Red Sox won 17-1, and I know they're having a bad season, record-wise. But they win 17-1 and fire their coaching staff.
So, with that being said, it's
Just want to talk to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very interesting. The league is shaping up to have a interesting year.
It's really weird because if you look at the standings, you've got basically every team is where they're not supposed to be, other than the Dodgers.
Yeah,
You've got teams like the Mets and the Blue Jays who are severely underperforming.
and you got teams like San Diego, and even
You've got the Rockies who are remaining competitive.
yeah,
Like basically every team outside the Dodgers, but even then with the Dodgers, they did lose 2 games to the Rockies, which is really funny.
yeah.
It's such a weird season so far.
Now I know we're just at the beginning of the season, but we do have some stats. So
To player stats.
some player stats, yes. So I had an idea. I'll do the players, and since you like the pitchers so much, you can do the pitchers.
You know what? I'd make that deal.
Yeah.
Damn good deal.
So players will lead the way with the home runs. I'm gonna have fun saying this one. Murakami from the White Sox is leading the pack with 12. Aaron Judge from the Yankees with 11. Olivares from Houston at 11 as well. And then both Rice from the Yankees and Josh Wood from the National at 10.
You know what the absolute funniest thing about that list to me is? Both Rice and Wood are on my fantasy team right now.
Yikes. RBI, Stewart from Cincinnati has 29. Hicks from Miami has 27. Olivares from Houston, 26. Matt Olson from Atlanta has 26 as well. And Aranda from Tampa Bay has 25. Average. Olivares, again, he's on all 3 of these lists, is batting at a .358. Edwards from Miami is pointing at a .34. Guerrero Jr. is batting at a .333. He is batting at a perfect third.
1 in every 3.
Paez is batting at a .327. Diaz and McGonigal are batting at .324. Now, stolen bases has always kind of held like a special spot in my heart. I don't know why. I just find it kind of cool. Like you try to pitcher that can throw like a ticket in a school zone. Nunez from Washington is at 13, leading the pack. Caballero from Yankees at 11. Ramirez from Cleveland at 11. Cruz at 10. And Marcy from Miami at 10 as well. So we have some players that like from last year that aren't there, like Acuna, De La Cruz.
Well, I mean, what we're seeing this year is that pretty much every team is implementing stealing bases a lot more into their systems. So we're seeing a lot more stolen bases, and it's really almost sped up the game.
Yeah.
Which is kind of nice to see. I suppose you're done. I could probably move on to the pitchers.
Oh, I guess so.
I can take. Okay, I'll take the mic from you. It's okay. It's okay. I'll open up with probably the funniest stat distribution here: the ERA, the earned runs average. So in first place we have Soriano from the LA Angels.
Yeah.
He's got an ERA of, and I'm giving you guys the right number here. This is correct. 0.45. He's an earned run average of less than half a run.
Yeah.
The next closest guy.
Let's go to the other end of LA.
The other end of on the Dodgers, Robleski has an ERA of 1.5. There's a full ERA difference between first and second. And then you go to Martinez from Tampa Bay in third with 1.7.
Yeah.
You have Messick from Cleveland in fourth with 1.73. And I really need to make sure I say this right. The Schlittler
Yeah.
from the Yankees with 1.77. So you go first at 0.5, to second at 1.5, and then to fifth at about 1.8.
I checked just for giggles, man, and there's a bigger gap between first and second than there is between second and 20th.
Very, very fun stuff. Pitching wins. We have 4 guys all tied for first with 5 wins. We have Ashby from Milwaukee, Roop from San Francisco. We have Chris Sale
From Atlanta.
and then we have Soriano from the Angels. We'll go over to saves. I'm sure we've all heard of his name by now. He's been all over social media. The modern day closer of closers, Mason Miller from San Diego, has 10 saves.
Out of 10 opportunities.
In second, we have Bednar from the Yankees with 8. Baker from Tampa Bay in third with 7. And then we have another 2 tied for third, also with 7 saves. We have O'Brien from St. Louis and Seawald from Arizona. Last stat here I'll give you guys for the pitchers is strikeouts. And one of the guys on this list is we're really happy to see. So in first place is Mizorowski from Milwaukee. He's got 51 strikeouts. But very, very close behind with 49 strikeouts, Toronto's own Dylan Cease. Soriano again from the Angels. He's got 46 strikeouts gives him third. We have McLean from the Mets of all teams with 45 strikeouts. And then in fifth, we have Williams from Cleveland with 44 strikeouts.
Yeah.
So those are our, I guess you could consider way too early stat leaders.
Wouldn't it be fun to just be able to pick which pitcher you want every week? Like as a fan, like you can be like, oh, we're going against this one. I want this guy. I want to pick this guy.
Right. So I think that about does it for MLB. We'll move on to a league that hasn't had a whole lot happen in the last couple months because it's been the off season. But the NFL draft happened. And we have the entire first round results for you guys. So bear with me as I name these off because as with all football players, we've all seen the skit. Their names are fun.
Yeah.
And there are a few in here that are also fun. So, first overall draft pick in the 2026 NFL draft.
No surprise.
Fernando Mendoza. Raiders pick up the quarterback.
Yep.
Second was David Bailey. He's an edge. He's going to the Jets. Third was Jeremiah Love. He's a running back. He's going to the Falcons. Fourth was Carnell Tate, wide receiver, going to the Titans. Fifth was Arvell Reese. He's also an edge. He's going to the Giants. We have Mansour Delaney. He is a center back. He is going to the Chief via the Browns. Seventh pick was Sonny Styles. He is a left block or left back. Linebacker. See, you're going to have to help me because like these abbreviations don't make sense to me at the moment. He's going to the Commanders. We have Jordan Tyson. He was picked at 8. He's a wide receiver. He's going to the Saints. Ninth pick was Spencer Fano. He is an offensive tackle. He's going to the Browns from the Chiefs. Francis Mauigoa. He's also an offensive tackle. He'll be playing for the Giants. So if you want a lesson in how to pronounce names, I guess the Giants is the team to watch this year. We have Caleb Downs, safety. He's going to the Cowboys. 12th was Caden Proctor, an offensive tackle. He's going to the Dolphins. We had Ty Simpson at the 13th pick, another quarterback, picked up by the Rams, which Miggy and I looked at this earlier, and it's a little confusing for the two of us, especially for Miggy being a Rams fan, but we'll get back to that a little bit later. At 14, we had Olivavega Ione. I don't know if I said that right.
We probably butchered it. We're deeply sorry. He's at guard for the Ravens.
He's a guard at the Ravens. 15th pick was Reuben Bain Jr. He's an edge going to the Buccaneers. We have Kayon Sadiq, a tight end, going to the Jets at 16. Going into the second half of the first round, the 17th pick, we have Blake Miller. Wow, that was like the easiest name on the list.
Yeah, the second one coming up.
Yeah, an offensive tackle going to the Lions. We have Caleb Banks. Oh, that one was pretty easy too. Okay. Defensive tackle going to the Vikings. At 19th, we had Monroe Freeling, an offensive tackle going to the Panthers. 20th pick was Makai Lemon, a wide receiver going to the Eagles.
We'll come back to this pick because there's a funny story with this guy.
So they gave you lemons.
They gave me lemons, and apparently we made a football player. 21st is Max Ihe Anchor.
A Heen anchor?
I don't know. Honestly, I look at the last name and all I can see is he had an anchor.
Yeah.
He's an offensive tackle. He's going to play for the Steelers. 22nd, we have Akeem Messidor. He's an edge, going to play for the Chargers. 23rd, we have Malachi Lawrence, an edge, going to play for the Cowboys. At 24th, we have my favorite name of this entire draft. We have KC Conception. And his first name, it's not Casey. No, it's KC, the letter K, followed by the letter C. He is now my favorite player. He's a wide receiver. He will be playing for the Cleveland Browns. At 25th, we had Dylan Thieneman. He's a safety will be playing for the Bears. 26th was Keelan Rutledge, the guard, picked up by the Texans. 27th was Chris Johnson. He is a cornerback. I want to say center back, but that's a soccer thing. That's the wrong football. Yeah. Cornerback, picked up by the Dolphins. 28th was Caleb Lomu, an offensive tackle, picked up by the Patriots. 29th was Peter Woods, a defensive tackle, picked up by the Chiefs. 30th was Omar Cooper Jr., a wide receiver, picked up by the Jets. 31st pick was Keldrick Falk, an edge, picked up by the Titans. And the final pick of the first round, the 32nd pick, was Jadarian Price, a running back, picked up by the Seahawks. So, a few interesting picks. I want to go back to Malachi Lemon, though.
So, the story with Malachi Lemon, he was actually on the phone with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they were calling him to tell him that they were picking him up. And so what happened is while they're on the phone, he's like, "Hey, coach, whatever, get the interview. We'd like to draft you." During that phone call, the Steelers had drafted up. Not the Steelers, the Eagles had drafted up.
Oh, they traded drafts again. Yeah.
With the Packers. So while he was on the phone call with him, Philly was trying to get a hold of Malachi Lemon. And he was on the phone already, but he turned around and said, "Look, Philly's calling me." And then, if you watch the video, you see, I think his friend or his brother's freaking out because they're like, "Oh, Philly traded up for you, Philly." So while he was on the phone with the Steelers, Philly actually picked him up.
The Eagles literally swept him in,
which
took him out.
Which is kind of ironic because Philadelphia and Pittsburgh, through every sport, has beef. And right now, the Flyers are battling against the Penguins.
Yeah.
So Philly, after this, took it one step further and went on social media and wrote, "Go Flyers, go."
I love the Battle of Pennsylvania.
So that's kind of the story about Lemon and his draft of confusion.
That's awesome. Another pick I want to go back to while I've got you kind of in your football talking mood is the Rams selection at 13 with Ty Simpson, quarterback.
So, as a big Rams fan, I don't know much about other teams' roster. I know the big names, I know the rookies, I know who's making a difference, who's not making a difference. But down and gritty, I don't know the backup QBs. Even the Rams. Sometimes I blank. I know it's Garoppolo, but sometimes I just.
Yeah.
So I don't fully understand, but at the same time I understand. So I'll tell you why I don't fully understand and why it doesn't make sense when I first heard about it. Matthew Stafford just came off an MVP year. He was I don't want to say the main reason because Puka Nakua, Devontae Adams, and all those people did fantastic. But he was a top 3 reason to why the Rams made it so far. He didn't throw a lot of interceptions. He was good during the playoffs. The battle he had against Seahawks at the conference final was insane. Now, here's where I do understand it. I understand to a point where Matthew Stafford is old in NFL terms.
Yeah.
He maybe has 2 years at most because he's coming back next year.
Oh, yeah.
But we don't know if he's coming back the year after that. So maybe they're picking up this Ty Simpson guy, and I watched his tape. He's good. He's able to read. Going number 13 overall as QB on a defensive loaded draft is good. So what I'm thinking is they're going to try to make Matt Stafford take him under his wing and show him the ropes so that when it is his time, if ever it does become his time, he may not be fully ready, but he'll have the knowledge of, or some of the knowledge of a MVP, Super Bowl winner, future Hall of Famer that showed him either the last year or the last 2 years, depending on how far Stafford is playing.
Yeah. I think my issue with the pick is I do sort of agree with you that it makes sense and it doesn't. Yeah. And I think my issue with this pick is that if you're picking a guy purely for future development, using a first round pick doesn't seem like you're getting the right kind of trade-off for it. Yeah. And, my knowledge of the football world, especially the NFL world, is very much lacking at the moment. So I don't know if there just wasn't anybody else that they wanted, especially in sort of like the quarterback department. Like maybe there wasn't another maybe their second and third quarterbacks on the board just weren't good enough, or like we're just so far separated from this guy that they just kind of said, now we have to pick him now.
Yep.
So I'm not entirely sure about that.
So how do you feel about the Seahawks picks?
The Seahawks pick, I don't think it surprises me.
I remember me and you talking about it when we first mentioned the free agency of the NFL a couple of months back. And Walker walked. And then we both looked at each other and said, look, Charbonnet either better come back ready, or they're going to have to draft a running back. And that's exactly what the Seahawks did.
So it's kind of that thing. My thing again is it's this 32nd pick of the first round. So like it's nowhere near the lottery, but it is still sort of a first round pick. And Seattle hung their hat on the defensive end already.
Yeah.
So they didn't really need any defensive picks in this draft. So they could definitely afford to pick up a running back. And the more I think about it, the more it makes sense, because they do have that positional hole of you lost a starting caliber running back in the offseason already. You need to get somebody back in. Whether or not Charbonnet comes back, you kind of needed a running back. You kind of needed to pick up a running back anyways.
Yeah.
So I'm not upset with it, but at the same time, I'm not sure if the plan is that they're going to look at this guy as sort of a RB1 kind of spot.
They'll probably do, if Charbonnet's back, they'll probably put him as a second or third.
Yeah.
And then if he's not back, then they'll probably split up with whoever they have lined up right now as a replacement. Now, that being said, though, Price is the only running back that was drafted in the first round.
That is true.
So
we had a lot of safety, defensive tackles all about, and just cornerbacks and whatnot. So we'll see. We'll see how our teams do. I mean, both teams are going to be fine going into the next year, but the draft picks are a little bit interesting.
Yeah.
So But hey, the NFL had something. We could actually talk about the NFL. That is
Yeah.
the first time in weeks. However, some of the bigger news from this past week comes from the NHL. Now, the NHL is well into their playoffs right now. I'll let you go over a bit of a recap later, but the guy that I want us to talk about right now is Anze Kopitar. And it's a long time coming. We all knew it was going to get here eventually, but it still hurts to know that this happens.
I'm gonna age myself a little bit. I know I'm not old, but
All right, Grandpa. All right,
I like
Grandpa.
when Anze Kopitar got drafted when I was 2 years old.
He's been in the league
Actually, 3.
while.
Sorry.
Yeah, regardless, he has been in the league a long, long, long time, which is rare
He was
for an NHL player.
He was 11th overall in the first round. He has put up numbers. He's won 3 Stanley Cups. He's not a physical guy. Like, he doesn't take a lot of penalties. He's there when you need him. He's their captain, so he earned that. But he has played 1,521 games and has 1,316 points. He has 452 goals and 864 assists. And this is the one that really baffles me. He is at plus 127.
That is a very, very impressive stat.
Yeah.
I will be completely honest. That is now, I think, the second time you have told me that number, and it still baffles me.
Oh, wait. It's better. He has 107 playoff games played. This year, they squeaked in. He has 0 goals, 0 assists, -5. Now, even with that -5,
even with the 0 points in
his career playoffs game, he has 107. He has 27 goals, 62 assists to add up to 89 points in 107 games at +4.
He's had quite the career.
If he is not a first ballot Hall of Famer, I am throwing a severe tantrum.
I'd pay to see that before I'd want to see that because of this. So,
like, I used to, when I got back, because I've always followed the Habs, but I started playing NHL on the Xbox in 2013. And other than the Habs, the only person I knew back then, before I really dove into hockey and wanted to know more than my dad, was Anze Kopitar and Drew Doughty. So I used to, and I couldn't play Montreal because with my big brother, he was always Montreal.
Yeah.
So I was always playing as the Kings. Let me tell you, I was not winning a lot of games. But when I did, Kopitar and Doughty had 3 to 4 points.
The good old saviors of the younger brother.
Oh, it's I won maybe 2 games, and the games I lost were 7-0.
Yeah.
So,
but a sparkling career, sparkling resume. He's played with the Kings for, I guess this would be forever, 20 seasons, if not 19, something like that. He goes out as probably one of the more loved and respected players from around the league.
Oh, 100%.
Right? A lot of guys can have great careers, but still be hated by some fan bases or just some fans. Yeah. But I think Kopitar goes down as one of the guys that you can't hate. You can't help but cheer for the guy. And he had a great career. And it's sad to see him go. But staying with the NHL and I guess just hockey in general, this is a conversation you and I kind of had a little bit earlier this week.
Is it the conversation I was telling you because my dad was crashing out?
Yes.
Yeah.
This kind of comes from your father.
Yeah.
But it's a conversation that I'm sure households, especially like hockey households and teams have had before. But the legitimacy of fighting and its place in hockey.
Now, my dad says it doesn't belong in hockey. And if my dad is listening, I would have to disagree. I do agree with him on where it belongs. If you're going to go into someone else's barn and just to intimidate, drop the gloves at center ice and go, hey, let's go, there's no place for that. But, like, if I'm on the Ducks right now and someone cross checks in the back into the board, Troy Terry, I kind of hope one of my guys picks up that guy and beats him up to defend me.
Oh yeah, fighting is such a weird term because it's very broad.
Yeah.
Right, especially in hockey, because we kind of anything that involves punching or cross-checking or just sort of like headlocking a guy is just all labeled fighting. But depending on where it is on the ice and what initiated it, it's very, very different. One of the things I told you was that I have no issue in the, hey, you and I have grudges with each other. Let's settle this. Let's like put up some entertainment for the fans. We'll just do this one-on-one, right? That I have no issue with. That has been a part of the sport since forever.
Yeah.
And is realistically like sort of like when I was younger, I didn't like it. But as I've grown up and as I watch it, right, fans like it. Fans enjoy it. It's part of the experience, and teams usually benefit from it, right? It's an energy boost. I also have no issue in kind of like what you said, defending your own.
Yeah.
Right? If somebody on the opposing team crashes hard into my goalie, you best believe that I am going to pick him up from the collar, toss him off to the side, and jump on him.
Yeah.
Right? My issue is when players take actions and very intentional actions to put somebody on the other team in a quote-unquote bad looking spot, and then use that as a reason to attack him.
Yeah.
The amount of times I've seen a player with the puck drive the net, he'll make a move on a goalie, he'll shoot it, the goalie will stop it, and the guy will take one check, like one poke check at the glove, because that's what you're taught to do, right? Like you keep going until the play is blown dead, and there's always a chance that the puck gets loose. If a player does that and does it once and stops, and the offense player is just kind of standing there by the goalie, that is, in my opinion, no reason to start a huge, big altercation, right? Like, sure, you as the defending team, you usher that guy away from your goalie, but the thing that you see so much is that you grab the collar and then you kind of throw these almost half jabs, sort of into the guy, pull back on his collar, into the guy, pull back on his collar, and that is kind of the most childish thing I think I've ever seen, and it happens a lot.
Yeah.
Another thing that happens a lot is that in the same scenario, a guy will drive to the net, poke at the goalie, and then will get shoved into the goalie by the defending team, and then the defending team goes, "Oh, look, he fell on my goalie, kill him!" Yeah. And it's like, the guy got cross-checked in the back of the neck, which is already just a risk of paralyzing him.
Yeah.
And now you're going to jump on him with, all of you have fucking swords on your feet. So I feel that hockey has kind of gotten to this point where fighting isn't the issue. It's the unnecessary kind of instigation and initiated scrums. And referees have just kind of lost control.
Oh,
which is the big problem.
And there's a investigation now going on in the NHL about that too, and talking about investigations about referees.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
The NBA has one for gambling.
The NBA playoffs, we're kind of skipping ahead a little bit here, but I feel like this is kind of in tune with what we're going on here. The NBA has had some baffling referee calls in the postseason so far.
Yeah.
To the point where there's a full-fledged investigation into the referees, not just for, maybe they're being paid off or whatnot to skew calls, but they themselves gambling on games and skewing their calls. There have been some egregious missed calls and no calls. I mean, I showed you a video the other day of, I think it was OG Anunoby of the Knicks. He had the ball sort of along the three-point line
he
near the
was
corner.
like a foot away from the line.
He was 2 feet in the line, and he was being defended by Jalen Johnson, the Atlanta Hawks player, and he stepped out of bounds, and I don't know if the ref was like, oh, I'm calling this out of bounds because I saw some pair of shoes go out of bounds, but if you look at it, he's staring right at the guy with the ball. He's like, you can see both feet. They're clearly in, but he still calls it out of bounds. There's no replay. There's no overturn. And it's these ridiculous calls. And the reason why there's this investigation is because if it was sort of these 50-50 calls, you can kind of get away with it where it's like, okay, these calls could have gone our way, but it's these blatantly obvious ones that are just piling up.
Yeah. So just back to hockey before we go back into an NBA trend. Playoffs.
Yep.
I'm just gonna call results because we're gonna release an episode going a little bit more in depth in the following days. Colorado sweeps LA. Kind of a sad ending for Kopitar, but everybody saw this coming. Buffalo is up 3-2 against Boston. Montreal and Tampa Bay is 2-2. Minnesota won tonight, so it's 3-2 Minnesota. Utah showing that they can hang with the big boys, and the series tied 2-2. Carolina swept Ottawa. Thank God. I was tired of seeing that crayon-eating dude play hockey.
I mean, hey, he had 0 points in all 4 games.
Him and Tim Stützle.
I do feel bad for Linus Ullmark, though.
He posted upwards of .95 in every game. Anyways, Pittsburgh is being led 3-2 against Philly. So
that series was 3-0.
Yeah, I'll go into more depth on that. And then Anaheim is currently winning 3-1 against Edmonton, who were kind of one of the favorites to win the cup. So, not looking too good.
No. But yeah, as Miggy said, we are still planning to do our playoff special episodes. We
just got a little busy this
week.
week.
We had a rough weekend. So going to the NBA real quick, I'll give you guys the series scores. Oklahoma City Thunder, they sweep the Phoenix Suns.
I'm so surprised.
It's okay. Like half these series, I've been telling you all week, I don't know ball. I do not know basketball.
Which is funny because all of my series so far are kind of still heading towards my projections.
Okay. So San Antonio, they're up 3-1 on Portland. So that one I'm still correct about.
Yeah.
Denver versus Minnesota. And I know you're really happy about this. They are currently up 3-2 against Denver.
Mr. Denver in 6.
Hey, look, man. Look, all I'm saying is that if Denver comes back and wins in 7, I'm technically not that far. And I did say Minnesota had a chance. I did say they had a chance. Here's the one that hurts my soul. The LA Lakers are up 3-1 against the Houston Rockets.
Yeah.
And this shouldn't have happened.
You want to talk about shouldn't have happened? You want to go to the next one?
Yeah, no, this one, the issue with this one is I'm going to be wrong. I'm already wrong about this. I'm not even disappointed in myself. I'm just baffled that this is even allowed to happen. The Orlando Magic are leading the Detroit Pistons 3-1. This is 1st versus 8th seed. The 8th seed is up 3-1. And convincingly, these are not ticky-tack like buzzer beater games where Detroit's been leading the whole time. No, Orlando is dog walking them right now.
It'd be really fun to hear you from your playoff episode that we did before the playoffs saying if Orlando can muster all their talents and all have a good day, they can maybe win one.
Yeah, they've done that 3 times.
So I'm going to say this one. If Detroit can muster a good day and everybody hits all their shot, they might come out of this series.
Oh my goodness. Boston Philadelphia series is going as anybody expected. Boston is up 3-1. Although the way they got there is a little bit weird. But tune into the playoff episode to hear more about that. New York versus Atlanta is 2-2. That is to be expected. Cleveland versus Toronto is 2-2 after Toronto went down 2-0. So we've got some interesting series. We've got some baffling series, and we've got a few that make sense. The NBA just doesn't make sense to me right now. I don't know ball. Obviously, my body didn't know ball because my knee folded itself in half. But basketball, the NBA is just weird. But the only team we have going on to the second round right now is the OKC Thunder. They are defending champions. We expected this.
So they're catching a break, is what you're saying.
They are catching a break. They will have at least a few days to rest.
I feel like we should follow OKC's
Okay.
way of life.
Oh, you mean be so good that you just win at everything and don't have to worry and then just get to sleep the rest of the day?
I was thinking about taking a break.
Oh. No. I got a couple more things before. You don't get your break until I say you get your break, Miggy. The last couple things here. The NBA did announce a few more awards this week. The sixth man of the year is Keldon Johnson from the San Antonio Spurs. He wins that. The most improved player is Nickeil Alexander-Walker from the Atlanta Hawks.
You seem happy about that one.
He's a Canadian. I will take it. Here's the slightly controversial one, but not actually controversial. More just it was 50-50.
Wait, let me guess. Let me guess. No, MVP already got.
No, MVP still hasn't come out.
I don't feel like it'd be the MVP. I feel like they keep it to the end.
Oh yeah.
Defensive Player of the Year.
Nope, that was already announced last week.
Most Improved.
No, I just said that one.
Oh, I'm done. Rookie.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So Rookie of the Year got announced. Cooper Flag wins it from the Dallas Mavericks. And I'm not upset about it, but I don't agree with it. I do think Knimpel probably deserved it a little bit more, although his performance in the play-ins was not great. Even though that's technically not a part of the regular season, but it's also not a part of the playoffs, so like it kind of fits. Regardless, those are your award winners so far. The only like big awards that still need to be announced are MVP and like Coach of the Year, and then like the All NBA and All Defensive Teams. But with that, Miggy, I'll send you to your break.
Yeah. Leave my frog alone.
And with that, welcome back from the break. Miggy and his little froggy friend, it's just a piece of paper, guys, don't worry, are going to give you guys a bit of PWHL news.
So fun fact, playoffs are starting. They're actually going to start when this episode drops.
Oh boy.
Which is kind of funny. It's good timing, I
Yeah.
call.
It might be the first episode where we're actually on time with our information instead of 2 days behind.
Yeah. Well, when the NFL season starts, it'll be on time. But anyways, back to the PWHL. First big news, Poulain is back.
Captain Clutch, the true Captain Clutch.
So Montreal did fantastic. She was gone for 10 games, and we won a lot of them. It went a lot better than me and you both thought. So I was happy to see that. Minnesota was the one picked.
They're the 3rd seed, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So
wait, that doesn't make sense. Isn't it first he gets to pick 3rd or 4th? Why didn't the Victoire pick 4th?
I think the Victoire has a better record against Minnesota than the Charge. So Boston will be facing the Charge. It is the best of 3. The first two games of both series have been announced, and then if they need a third one, they'll announce that. Now, before I start calling the games, each playoff team has a two-time Walter Cup champion on.
Remind me again how old the PWHL is.
This is their third year.
So all four teams have a player on their roster that took part in the winning rosters for both of the championships.
Yes. That
Interesting.
means that at the end of the year, someone, at least one person, is going to start as a three-time Walter Cup champion.
Currently, both of those have 100% win rate in the finals.
Yeah. Somebody is going to have claim to I have been part of every championship in league history.
Yeah.
That's an interesting title to have. It's pretty cool.
Now, if we want to talk about stats for players real quick, Carpenter, third consecutive 20-point campaign. Sophie Jacques and Keller becomes first pair of defenders to have 50 points in career-wise. And then a record-breaking season for goalie wins is shared between Frankel and Desbiens, the Boston and the Montreal goaltender. Like me, you have mentioned multiple times, those two were fantastic.
Far and above their peers.
Honestly, yes, the shots might not be as hard, but these ladies are just making saves like the flexibility difference between a guy and a girl is insane.
I mean, when your save percentage is above 950, consistently, is ridiculous. I don't want to hear anything about men, women, shot difficulty, whatever. A goalie saving more than 19 out of 20 every 20 shots is incredible.
Crazy. And you'll be happy about this because you're a Vancouver boy. Vancouver gets the first round pick.
That is a great result for a very unfortunate reason, but I'll take it.
So Vancouver can potentially get the first round pick in the NFL, NHL, and the PWHL.
Now, you know that's.
You wish I stopped at PWHL?
Yeah. I cry about that fact, and I don't know if it's tears of joy or of just sorrow. Both, probably.
Now, like I said, these series are 2 of 3, best of 3, so you gotta win 2. So Thursday, April 30th, Ottawa will be facing Boston at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Saturday, May 2nd, we'll have 2 games. So Minnesota versus Montreal at 2 Eastern Time, and Ottawa versus Boston at 7 Eastern Time. And then May 5th, Minnesota will be facing Montreal at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, depending on the results, they will release a Game 3 for both if needed. I think both of these series could very well reach that third game.
You know what? I will put in... This won't be a hot take. It'll be a warm take. I think Montreal sweeps. Because I think they have a 4-0 record against Minnesota in the regular season.
I would like to see a battle of the goalies in the final.
I'm not usually a big Boston supporter. My hatred, same with you for something like the Boston Bruins, runs quite deep. But as somebody who used to play goalie and still idolizes goalie as much as anybody, I 100% agree. I would love.
I want a showdown. I want a tight defensive game that brings a lot of offensive opportunities that defense steal. That not only defense but goalies steal the show.
If we have a Montreal Boston final and every game ends 1-0, dream come true for me.
Yep,
honestly,
it would. Now talking about games that finish 1-0, that happens a lot in the MLS. Believe it or not. So
you think they'd score a lot more with the size of their nets and the goals, but I digress.
Apparently not. So Wednesday, April 22nd, Columbus played against LA. Columbus won 2-1. Then New York. This game was interesting, mind you. New York City was leading 4-2 with 11 minutes left. And Cincinnati didn't only just score twice in these 11 minutes. They scored twice in stoppage time.
So they scored twice in added minutes.
Yeah.
In the imaginary
They
minutes.
scored at 90 plus 1 and 90 plus 5.
Ridiculous.
That game finished 4-4. Nicolas Fernandez and Cincinnati Kevin Deakley both recorded 2 goals each. Toronto versus Philly was 3-3. Orlando versus Charlotte was 4-1. New York Red Bull versus DC United was tied 4-4. And DC United must thank Tay Baribo for his hat trick, which doubled his season total in goals. Atlanta lost 1-2 versus New England. FC Dallas lost to Minnesota. Houston lost to San Diego 1-0. Real Salt Lake lost 2-0 versus Inter Miami. San Jose lost 5-1 against Austin. Preston Jude put up a 2-goal game. Austin opened up the scoring. San Jose scored their first goal at the 58th minute.
Okay.
So Austin was leading 1-0 for about 40 minutes. Now, San Jose also scored 3 goals in 6 minutes. Now, you say, like, this game is sad, like, why wasn't it tighter? Let me show you why it was not tighter. San Jose had 37 shots on Austin's 6.
Yeah, that.
Oh, wait, it gets worse. The possession was 68-32 for San Jose. Passes. San Jose doubled.
Okay, so like 100 to 50?
563 to 270.
Okay, so when you say doubled, they had nearly 300 more passes.
Yep.
Okay. I'm still recoiling from the shot difference. Because that's about 6 times.
Yeah. So honestly, Austin kind of deserved to lose this one.
Deserved? I don't know if they deserve to take the pitch.
Yeah.
I don't know if they came to play.
Now, on tighter notes, LAFC versus Colorado finished 0-0. On Saturday the 25th, Toronto lost to Atlanta 2-1. Montreal won against New York City 1-0. Minnesota lost to LAFC 1-0. Cincinnati won against Red Bull New York 2-0. Columbus 2-0 versus Philly. DC 3-2 versus Orlando. Miami and New England was tied 1-1. Austin versus Houston. I have to practice this one because Austin-Houston is pretty close. Austin wins 2-0. Chicago versus Kansas City. 5-0 for Chicago. Supers and Zinkelnagel.
wait. Please say that again.
Zinkernagel.
Again.
Zinkernagel.
Zinkernagel?
Yep. Both scored 2 goals.
Zinkernagel. What?
Zinckernagel.
What are
Zinkernagel.
What are we naming teams these days?
That's not a team. That's a player.
That's a player.
Yeah.
Oh, that's even funnier.
Yeah.
What are we naming people these days?
Nashville versus Charlotte was 4-2 for Nashville. San Diego versus Portland. Portland wins 2-1. Seattle takes a 2-1 win over Dallas. Vancouver gets a 3-1 win over Colorado.
Vancouver won
And on
again.
Sunday,
At a sport. At a sport.
Sunday 26th, just be ready for future. You're gonna love this. LA won 2-1 with Real Salt Lake City. Now there's one score. I kept aside. San Jose is number 1 in the West. St. Louis is number 14th in the West.
Is 14th like last in
Second to last.
Okay. So 14th out of 50.
San Jose won 3-2. And they scored on a penalty shot. And San Jose scored to put themselves ahead at the 83rd minute.
So the 14th team in the West
Put up a fight.
Was tied with the first team in the West for 83 minutes. Or up until the 83rd minute mark.
They kept it a tight game.
I mean, hey, you take the small victories.
I will say, though, the name Zinkernagel is pretty funny to say. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, but Zinkernagel. Yeah.
I feel like that's a name that we're going to have to keep saying every episode and just see the progression.
Yeah. I think I'm just going to be able to open it up next week and be like, welcome home, you Zinkernagels.
Zinkernagels. Ziggy!
There's no G's.
Zinger. Oh, wait.
It's Zinkernagel.
Oh, it's cuz. I thought it was
Zinkernagel.
Zinkernagel. I've been saying Zingernagel. No, okay, it's Zinkernagel?
Yeah.
Zinkernagel?
Yeah.
That's... Oh, my goodness.
So, next week's game real quick before we go over stats. Tuesday, there's the U.S. Open Cup round of 16. Charlotte versus Atlanta at 5, and San Jose versus Minnesota at 8. And then you also have the Champions Cup semifinal league leg 1 of 2 for the CONCACAF, which is Nashville versus Club Tigers.
I'm not going to make you try to say that again 3 times. Zinkernagel, I think, takes the cake.
Wednesday the 29th, round of 16. You have Red Bull New York against New York City at 5. New England versus Orlando at 5:30. Columbus versus Knox at 5:30. Chicago versus St. Louis at 6 p.m. Houston versus FCL at 6 p.m. Columbus versus CSS at 7 p.m. And then you also have the CONCACAF Champions Cup semifinal leg 1 of 2, which is LAFC versus TOL at 8:30. Now back to the regular MLS games. We have on Saturday, May 2nd, Toronto versus San Jose at 11. Kansas City versus Seattle at 12:30. Salt Lake versus Portland at 2:30. Miami and Orlando at 5. Atlanta, Montreal at 5:30. Columbus, Minnesota at 5:30. New England, Charlotte 5:30. Red Bull New York, FC Dallas at 5:30. MLS really likes the 5:30 mark.
You're telling me
Philly versus Nashville at
5:30.
Chicago at Cincinnati at 6:30.
That's 5:30 games.
Yeah. Houston and Colorado at 6:30. San Diego and LAFC at 7:30.
Oh, only 2 6:30 games. Okay.
LA Galaxy versus Vancouver at 8:30. That's a lot of 30 games. Like, they must really like just something 30. And now that I just said that, on May 3rd, New York City plays DC United at 1.
I thought you just said they're like their 30s.
Yeah.
It's at 1. Not
Austin
1:30.
versus St. Louis at 3:30.
Oh, okay, there it is.
So, with all that, there's a couple of games, but I think...
A couple?
Yeah. I think I'm gonna lead it off to our higher J.
Higher?
Higher.
He forgot to say diversity.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. You
No, I meant
forgot.
higher in height.
Oh, I thought he was just a higher
Motherfucker
being
just
at this
high.
point. I thought he was just. I don't know, man. I thought he was a vision.
Right? If my iPad would decide to work, because I cannot read the stats at the moment. Yeah. There we go. It's okay. Don't need to do a recording break. This is all going in. All right. For the player stats, goals. Yeah, there we go. Pitar Musa.
Yeah, that does say Pitar.
Yeah.
Pitar Musa. 9 goals for Dallas, I'm assuming.
Yep.
Nicholas Fernandez for NYC, 8 goals. Sam Surridge for Nashville, 7 goals. Lionel Messi for Miami, 7 goals.
You know, I always forget that the MLS has a name like Messi.
Yeah.
It's his retirement.
I always forget that he
MLS
actually came
is
over here to play.
usually the retirement home.
Usually, it just is.
Well, Ibrahimovic did go out of MLS to join Man United for a year, so.
Yeah.
Ty Baribo for DC, 6 goals. Now, assists. Here's another retiree for LAFC. Son Heung-min with 7 assists. Nico Tsarkiris for San Jose, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
6 assists. Luca Langoni for 6 assists for New England.
Yep.
Rudy Camacho for No. I skipped a stat. Maxi Morales for NYC, 6 assists. And Sebastian Berhalter for Vancouver, 5 assists.
Have soccer leagues always kept track of assists?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know. When growing up, I always, for some reason, I thought that they didn't actually keep track of like assists, because they do assists in soccer like they do in basketball, where it's just the
last touch.
like the most recent touch, most recent pass, right? Okay.
Yeah. I know that they keep track of assists because there was a season where I was following Real Madrid season where they won Champions League, and this was the roster that I think was insane. To be honest, if you look back at it, because it was their forwards were Benzema.
Oh yeah.
Ronaldo and Ozil.
I don't know who Ozil is, but
Mesut Ozil, in my opinion, the best just passer that has ever touched the ball.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
And their center was Di Maria, Xabi Alonso.
Of course, because who needs more big names?
Like that entire roster was just top of the line for each in-slot player.
Yeah.
Like their defense was Sergio Ramos, Pepe, freaking Marcelo.
Okay, so did they just have the best assist numbers? Did they just assist on every goal?
Ozil was leading that season in assists by double the second place.
Okay, I gotcha.
Like it was insane, and that was why I remember. And that was the season where I got into football. So, it was insane.
You mean soccer?
Football.
You mean soccer?
No.
Yes.
No.
He means soccer, folks.
I mean football.
One
where you play with your foot.
He doesn't mean football.
Okay, children.
I'm not gonna say the next stats because I don't know why they exist. They're cool stats, but I just don't understand why they exist. Like the touches.
A lot of touches.
I mean, it just means that they're really active around the ball. It's like a possession adjacent stat.
Yeah.
Right. Like you've got team possession percentage, and then individual player touches is just it's like usage rate.
Yeah.
right?
Because like the average touches are around 50 to 70, but like the leaders are in the thousands.
Yeah, roll right. Like Jeppe Sertskov for San Diego.
Yeah.
He's at first with 1,005.
He's
Yeah.
averaging 111 touches a game.
Yeah, so that's double the typical average. So like,
But like, what do you count a touch? Like, because when you're dribbling, you're constantly kicking the ball.
So-
is each kick a touch?
no. Each touch would be basically every time
Every
a
first
player,
touch?
yeah, every first touch, like every time a player gets possession,
Yeah.
quote unquote, is I think what it would be. Because I mean, if it's every dribble touch, I mean, we're looking at 3,000.
You're right.
So
Right. So should we just go straight into next games, or did we already do that?
We already did do that.
We already did do that.
How about we just throw the towel in and throw it over to MLR?
yeah, so the MLR is much easier than the MLS. I do not envy how many teams you just had to name off and give schedules for, because the MLR has only 6 teams. So we only had 3 games this past week. We had the Seattle Seawolves against the Chicago Hounds past Friday. The Hounds come out with the 59-22 victory. This past Sunday, we had Old Glory DC against California Legion. California won that 36-23. We had the New England Free Jacks against Anthem RC. The Free Jacks win that 38-26.
Booyah.
The standings are they're still early into their year. I think they've played between 4 and 5 games. Chicago Hounds, they played 4 games. They are undefeated. They are 4-0, and they are, I will say it again, they are dog walking their competition. These are comfortable blowouts at this point. California's in 2nd, Anthem's in 3rd, Old Glory's in 4th, New England's in 5th, and Seattle sitting pretty at the bottom in 6th. I don't think Seattle's won a game.
That's rough.
So, but the Chicago Hounds are by far the best team right now. Upcoming games, we have only 2 games this upcoming week, which is weird because usually there are 3 games a week with a 6-team league. So I think 2 teams are getting a bye this week. The only games are this coming Sunday. It's the Free Jacks against the Seawolves, and then the Hounds against Old Glory.
So the Battle of the Basement and a dog walk for the Hounds.
Yeah. So for some reason, California and Anthem both have this week off. But those are the only games on this week for the MLR. With that being said, I think we're going to go on to probably the most painful league, or the league with the most painful news right now for us, which is the NLL, Lacrosse League. And for anybody who's been following us closely, we have been big Saskatchewan Rush supporters. But they were involved in a bit of a unexpected event this past weekend. And by unexpected event,
how did the top 3 teams get knocked out in the first round?
Yeah, you know what? You literally took the words right out of my mouth. Saskatchewan, Vancouver, and Colorado. Seeds 1, 2, and 3 in the NLL all lost in the first round.
If the 4th seed, Georgia Swarms, make it all the way to the final, they would have home advantage.
The 4th seed should not have home advantage. You know what? Screw that. I don't care about that. What do you mean 1, 2, and 3 all lost to 6, 7, 8? Like, I know that I don't know basketball because we've got a 1st seed that's going to lose, and we've got some 2nd and 3rd seeds that are kind of iffy. But what do you mean Colorado, Vancouver, and Saskatchewan all just fall off the edge of a cliff?
That was a planned
Playoff
assault.
Like,
They must have had a meeting and they're like, all right, we're watching all video together and we're planning this assault, and 1, 2, 3 all get in the boot.
you know, honestly, I think they all just wanted to have an early summer.
Honestly, as a Georgia Swarm fan right now, I'd be like, this is the easiest playoffs.
Well, okay, maybe not the easiest. I mean, you were just shown that the bottom feeders just took out the top dogs, and you're sitting kind of in between both. You just happen to get home field advantage, and you're kind of sitting here going, okay, so were the teams above me just frauds?
Number
Or
6 is getting home advantage for the next series.
right, because it's going to be 6 against
7 and 4 against 8.
those are not numbers you should be seeing in a second round.
No.
The only time you should be seeing those numbers in a second round is in March Madness.
Yeah.
And we have seeds 1 through 16.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Bro, I was like, I didn't have time to play to watch the game because I was at a concert. And Sunday I wake up, I'm gonna check. It can't be bad. Like if we lose in overtime. Didn't lose in overtime. We lost 16-13.
At least it was kind of close.
Yeah, and then I was like, okay, let's see what the brackets are. And then I started reading, and I was like, well, it ain't April 1st. What?
There's a typo, there's a bug, somebody hacked into the website, right? No. Colorado, Vancouver, and Saskatchewan all played great regular seasons just to get bounced in the quarterfinals.
I know how it feels to be a Maple Leafs fan.
And I don't like it at all. But we do have some good hometown news.
Yeah, we do actually. One of our fans,
one of our regular viewers,
messaged us and asked if we could mention a cheer team that went to they call it Orlando Worlds.
The Cheer Worlds.
Yeah. They go to Orlando at Disney World and they perform. It happens once a year. And you got to get like a bid to get in. Now, Prairie Fire Cheer send 2 teams in. Now, TNT finished 7th in Canada. To compete in day 2, you got to finish top 3 in your respective country. Fever placed top 3 in Canada for their division. So they got to perform, in day 2. Well, Fever placed 8th in the world. So, congratulations, girls and guys who performed and represented Saskatoon and Saskatchewan as a whole at the Cheer Worlds.
8th in the world is nothing to scoff at. That is a very, very impressive, very good finish. And yeah, I want to second that. Congratulations to our Fever and TNT boys and girls. And hopefully next year is an even better finish. But I think with that announcement, so unless we have anything else.
Yeah, I don't think I got anything else. I think we pretty much covered it all today.
Jay?
Yeah.
All right. The mic is turning off, and we will see you guys in the international episode.